Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. APC leaders hold rally in Port Harcourt, tackle President Jonathan and PDP leadership on corruption and impunity. More reactions trail President Jonathan's reply to Chief Obasanjo's letter. Prominent Nigerians differ on the content of the letters. Women civil society groups protest graphic debasement of one of their own, ask authorities to fish out those behind the act. And South Sudan army gear ups for new assault on rebel stronghold of Bor. And all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the move, visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, Windows phones from their respective stores. After downloading the Channels application, you can then interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on your Android and Windows 8 platforms. If you have a picture or video to share with us, all you need to do is tap on the application on your device. Swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share your report, pictures, as well as videos. Well, let's now join Gloria in our Abuja studios for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Sulaiman. Now, news from Abuja. Over 3 months after a team of security agents raided an uncompleted building in Apo area of Abuja, security agents are yet to recover ammunition which led to the killing of 8 squatters, leaving 11 of them injured. Given a testimony on behalf of the Nigerian Army, a representative of the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Emmanuel Atewe, says a suspected Boko Haram member said to be living in the building is still at large. The killing has raised concerns about military tactics in the fight against terrorism.
It's the continuation of an investigation by the National Human Rights Commission into the death of 8 people when a combined team of military and state security officials raided an uncompleted building in Apo area of Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. After the incident, security officials said the uncompleted building had been occupied by members of the Boko Haram sect.
Before this Honorable Commission.
At the public hearing by the National Human Rights Commission to examine the incident, a representative of the Chief of Army Staff explained why the security operatives made the decision to raid the building and how they went about it.
It was based on the confession of these 2 gentlemen that a team went to the Apo cemetery. On getting to the Apo cemetery, the 2 gentlemen were unable to precisely identify where the weapons were buried. It was at that point he now confessed that if their leader was arrested, one Mr. Suleiman, who now resides in one uncompleted building within the same vicinity, that he, Suleiman, could identify the actual spot, because the intention was to carry out terrorist attack between that 20th and 22nd of September. It was on this premise that the team moved cautiously to the uncompleted building.
The panel sought to find out if the operatives recovered the weapons which led to the raid in the first place. They also sought to know if the victims were members of the Boko Haram sect.
I want to say that security agencies are making effort to apprehend them.
So it's still at large?
So Suleiman is still at large and the cache of arms are still undiscovered?
Undiscovered.
While the National Human Rights Commission is still investigating the incident, relations of the victims of the Apo killings have demanded that the federal government paid a sum of 500 million naira as compensation and offer a public apology that the victims were innocent and not members of the Boko Haram sect. Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
The Nigerian Navy says it has achieved considerable success in the protection of Nigerian maritime boundary While addressing a gathering in Abuja, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Izoba, says all the targets set by the Navy for this year have been achieved. Some of these achievements, according to the Naval Chief, include the reduction in piracy and other criminal activities within Nigerian maritime space, rescue of hijacked vessels, better patrol of both inland waters and the high seas, and the procurement of more vessels. Our correspondent Amaka Okafo reports.
The Chief of Naval Staff and Principal Staff Officers of the Nigerian Navy at an event to present a new strategic document for the Nigerian Navy. But the Naval Chief used the opportunity to present a scorecard of the achievement of the Nigerian Navy for the year.
I'm glad today to report that the aforementioned objectives have been largely achieved within the period under review. The incidences of piracy or sea robbery in our maritime space has reduced considerably. For instance, between January and September 2013, the NN received various alerts of suspected sea robbery and incidences of piracy within the Nigerian maritime space. I'm glad to say that we successfully responded to most of these incidences and, of course, effected arrests, while some of the pirates were killed while trying to escape arrest.
Other achievements, according to the Chief of Naval Staff, include the rescue of hijacked vessels, the arrest of more than 1,000 suspects, and procurement of more seaworthy vessels.
Within the same period under review, the NN destroyed 1,556 illegal refineries within the Niger Delta, 103 barges, 1,443 large wooden boats, and 69,606 auxiliary equipments were destroyed. In this regard also, between October 2012 and September 2013, over 1,646 suspects were arrested, investigated and handed over to the police, the EFCC, and the National Security Defense Corps, respectively, for trials.
In order to consolidate on the achievement made so far, all flag commanding officers, commanders and commanding officers will be required to sign a performance contract to ensure that all the goals set out by the Nigerian Navy to protect Nigerian maritime space are achieved. Amaka Okafo, Channel Television News.
After 5 days of warning strike by doctors in public hospitals under the Nigerian Medical Association, the doctors are back at work in most hospitals nationwide. But the NMA has promised to return to a full strike action from January 6, 2014 if its demands are not met. Some of the issues raised by the association, such as the skipping of paramedics from level 10 to 12, and the consultancy status of other healthcare workers are causing ripples in the sector. Our correspondent, Yomi Otaigbe, reports that Nigeria's health sector may be thrown into more confusion as other healthcare workers are challenging some of these demands.
The present agitations by the Nigerian Medical Association was made known with an ultimatum to the federal government in September 2013, when the association highlighted its demands, which include the reversal of fundamental errors in the existing salary structure for doctors, funding of the healthcare sector, expansion of the universal health coverage for all Nigerians, and addressing the selective skipping of paramedics from level 10 to 12 and consultancy appellage which has been granted to some paramedics.
All the policies that are inimical, change it. The one you cannot change, let there be a circular that, okay, if some people are skipping, let doctors who skip. This consultant appellage is causing confusion with regards to patient management. Therefore, for now, let us stop it. While we go with international best practice. You see consultant this, consultant that, consultant bookkeeper, consultant record. It's confusing to the patient. And patients, at the end of the day, will not know. At the end of the day, if there's a problem to the patient, it's the doctor that will be blamed.
Although the doctors have called off the 5-day warning strike, these demands are not going down well with other healthcare professionals, especially the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, which sees no reason why the consultancy status of any other healthcare professional should worry the doctors.
Consultancy status in pharmacy is a global norm. From the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, everywhere where pharmacists appointed consultants.
Radiographers are appointed consultants everywhere. But let's even come back home. The reality today is that there are valid orders of courts from the Nigerian Industrial Court that has given specific orders that the status quo ante be maintained with respect to health professionals who have been appointed consultants or who the bureaucracy has given approvals to. Again, there is a subsisting court order that pharmacists and other health professionals be allowed to skip Con S10. I think it is contemptuous of that court order. A big insult to our intelligence for the NMA to list that as a conditionality for its members to go back to.
The situation seems now more complex as the Joint Health Sector Union's 15-day ultimatum to the federal government to implement the agreement reached with it in August 2013 expires on December 28. One of the issues at stake is the implementation of the Industrial Quotes Order for the skipping of Consolidated Health Salary Structure, CONHES 10.
I have information now, very reliably, that JOSU is planning, has sent an ultimatum to government that if it dares truncates the spirit of various agreements reached with it, sometimes in August, then it would embark on mother of all strikes. We will mobilize the entire fabric of pharmacies in both the public and private sector to be part of that JOSU strike.
The unending rivalry in the health sector is taking a disturbing turn as the gladiators take turns to get the government to do their biddings. All eyes are on the federal government to do that which is lawful and of international best practices. Yomi Otaigo reporting for Channels Television News.
And that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Suleiman.
Thanks, Gloria. When the News at 10 returns, Christmas pushes up airfares across the country as passengers kick to join us again.